All right, everybody back in again here. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Thank you again for joining us. Can't thank Eric Jones enough, PGA professional. We had him on in the first hour. His book that he co-authored with Dr. Glenn Alba, The Clutch Golfer Formula, how to exactly hit the shot you want precisely when you need it. You can get that on Amazon. It looks fantastic. I mean, I skimmed through it. It's a long book, so I skimmed through it, over the last couple of days and tried to pick different spots and topics to talk about. But if you listen to the interview, this interview is over 20 minutes long. So for us as professionals, PGA professionals, we could have kept going another hour or more easily. But I want to give Eric Jones the props on that. And again, you guys check out the Clutch Golfer Formula, how to hit the exactly the shot you want precisely when you need it at Amazon.com today. So just before the break, we had a really small segment there. Jim, you were hitting on a few different points. I wanted you to continue with that. Elaborate a little bit more on what you were talking about before we went to break.
Yeah, I've been really focusing lately on, after I got my life coaching certification, I really focused on that thought world and how the last ball, how it interferes with the joy of anybody, including us as pros or on the tour, or everybody wants that last shot, that last putt to go in, the clutch moment. We put all our eggs in that basket, and there's where the expectation rises or falls, because on the range, I call it the last ball syndrome on the range, and I call it the last ball syndrome on the golf course. And that last ball, if we don't hit it good, we want to go get more range balls. We don't have that luxury in a round of golf. But here's the thing. Why didn't we hit it good sometimes, and why do we hit it good sometimes? Well, if you do a little studying on focus, you're going to find out that they've done a lot of good studies on this in everything, sports and other things. And it's, if you don't drink water, let's say you don't drink water at all and you start hitting balls. Let's go minutes. They say that between 7 minutes to 25 minutes, you start to lose major focus. It comes from water. It's dehydration. And a lot of it. And so every single person, I believe, doesn't matter who you are, at the 7 minute to 25 minute with no water, and then add food to that equation, because that's where the synapses come from to charge you up and hit far and straight and consistent. 7 minutes. Sometimes it's 7 minutes for me. I lose my focus. Sometimes it's more. I can prolong that with water and the right food, I've noticed, and I help my students do that with the right food for them. But you get to so basically, let's just say, because we rapid fire, rake and hit, instead of doing the routines like Eric said, let's just say it's 7 balls. So between 7 minutes or 7 balls and 25 balls, every single person's losing focus. Without a coach there, which most of us, even us pros right now, don't have our coaches with us.
Right.
Only the tour player has the village, as Eric said. They have the entire village of specialists around them, including the caddy constantly. So even if they're not focused, they make an error in their fundamentals. They go back to defaults. The caddy tells them you're back and your hand slipped again. You're misaligned again. You didn't do the perfect routine. Why? Because he doesn't have any more focus. He has to be pushed. Just like the personal trainer. If you've ever taken a personal training in the gymnasium, you notice that at the end, at the 10 minutes to go, which is the last ball syndrome, we're talking an hour of full physical, not mental hardly at all in the gymnasium. And yet the trainer says, keep your elbows in. Okay, one more. Keep those elbows in, which he's talking about form, because he knows you're done. You're fried, and he has to push you to keep your elbows in.
For doing what?
Yeah, you're just lifting whatever you're lifting.
Lifting weights.
So you're in a gymnasium.
Yeah.
Think about this. There's hardly any mental issues here.
Yeah.
You're drinking water,
right?
Some of you are snacking, sip and nibble, which I believe in. And the trainer goes, okay, we're going to lift one more. Okay, go. Keep those elbows in. Come on, keep your form good. Look in the mirror. Watch it. Come on, watch it. Okay, we could do one more. Keep your elbows in. I mean, how tunnel vision focus as that personal trainer because we can't. We are fried. And yet on the
We're
driving,
probably not even aware of that it's happening when it's happening. When you don't have
they're
somebody
after
there.
your form.
Right.
So my point is, okay, well, we know at 7 minutes to 25 minutes, every person without water is going down. What does that mean? Well, just take the gymnasium. If it means flying elbows, hello, golfers, then that means at the 7th ball to the 25th, your focus is gone, which then your mind-body connection's gone. Okay? Think about it, the focus that way.
Yeah.
You lose the mind-body connection, you're rubbery, and now you lose your rhythm because rhythm, tempo timing, rhythm is what you really lose. That's all you're losing is your rhythm. And you lose it because you lose your focus. You lose your focus because you're not drinking water, you're not sipping a nibble, you're not taking breaks, you're not taking enough time between shots. Not to analyze, really, that's good, but really to regenerate. You want to last a whole small bucket and have perfect focus? You really got to you got to be focused on the process, Mike, like you said, but really focused on making sure you're regenerating your body, sip and nibble between every shot, cleansing your mind out of bad thoughts. Because as the more that you go into those range balls, the more bad, and you're starting to hit it bad because you're losing focus, the more bad thoughts come up and the more emotion comes up. That drains you. And then you go, and so you hit maybe 7 really good shots, then you start deteriorating a little bit, you make some compensation, no teachers around, so your form goes back to defaults. You can't focus anymore.
Right.
You have no personal trainer, no caddy there, no teacher. Well, then you go back. Oh, you hit one good one because you compensated perfectly without anybody there. And then you hit a couple, and then you miss, and you're starting to lose your focus. You go get it. You miss the last ball. What do? More range balls, please. Well, now you're really in dangerous country.
Well, you're going down the rabbit hole at that point.
You're going to chunk, shank. It's a possibility, left, right, whatever it is. Your legs are getting tired. You don't know it because you physically lost your focus. And then you hit about 20 more balls, and the 15th ball, you finally make enough corrections by yourself through ball flight, and voila, it goes straight. You don't know it's less, and you think you're okay. You go, oh, I'm back. I didn't lose my swing. And then you miss the last ball again. You go get another bucket. I mean, you haven't drank water or food. It's ridiculous. And you go back and get a third bucket. Now you're in injury territory, sickness territory. It's dangerous territory. And they come back to us in lessons, and they go, I hit the ball terrible. And then I probe them, and that's what happens. So I've changed my whole focus on my students, and I've gone to, you take lessons with me. And I did supervised practice a lot in the CARE program, but when we did it at Black Lake.
Right.
But after my surgery, I started going back to, you know what? They need us as the caddy constantly. And I believe that they should practice only with us. And so that's what, and less is better. And they need to have every component in that, say 40 minutes of 21 range balls. So I'm starting to create I got every component already. So I've organized it. And now I'm really paying attention to the last 4 balls. And I'm going to tell you what's really cool.
So if I ask you what you just said there, did you say 21 balls in 40 minutes?
21 balls in whatever it takes. It's about 45 minutes. I figured it out. It's about, if you do it right, you do a routine.
In a supervised lesson.
And it is.
Scenario.
And I've figured out ways to make them self-awareness, to have self-discovery and self-coaching. And I'm getting feedback like that now. And now they're telling each other, because I'm in 6 to 8 people who are all my people that know my vocabulary.
Right.
That's the only people I let in. They have to take private, so I know who they are. I pull them into the supervised, and that's the way it is now. I don't do it. I don't like to do it any other way, because I mean, I will. Oh, I need a tip. That's fine. I'll do it. But this is the way they improve, and they come out of it joyful because. So go ahead. I
was just going to ask you as you're going along and you were talking, certain things were just popping in my head. So would it not be better? I did this drill with the first tee kids the other day, the teenage kids. I said, because they all love the range, right? And kids rapid fire, kids rapid fire, right? So more so than adults. So I said, hey, grab 10 range balls each. And I said, okay, grab an iron. You're going to hit some shots. I said, these are the only range balls you're going to get for the day. So you've got 10 shots. What do you think is a achievable goal, for you guys to be able to pull off here? So one of the kids is actually a really smart kid, plays a lot. He says, I'm just going to try to hit all 10 of them on the center of the club face. Hit them solid. That's all I'm going to do. So then the whole conversation starts with, how do you do that? How can you do that? And it's very much in the realm of what this interview was with Eric and the interview that you and I, the conversation you are having today, right now in this moment. And I started thinking that for most people, just like what you said, if you take that lesson, and the lesson is a large bucket of balls, and that's 60 shots, there's going to be bad shots in that 60. And especially if you keep adding more range balls, it's probably going to, at some point, like you said, it's going to keep getting worse, right? So I was thinking the other day, I'm like, what if you did a lesson like that with somebody where you said it's a 20 ball lesson? That's what it is. And we're focusing on the pre-shot routine. Every time after they hit a shot, we're going to talk about, what did you feel? What did you adjust? Did you adjust anything? And a lot of times the student will go, I don't even know. Like they have no idea. And so I might tie it into, what did you feel? What were you thinking? Were you visual? Were you feeling something? Were you, like the same kind of thing Eric was talking about with this open-ended. But what made me think about this is the 3 practice types he talked about, Eric Jones, in the first hour of this show, was the block practice, which is what everybody does. Everybody does block practicing all the time. They just get a bucket of balls and they stand in the same place, and a lot of the time they're like, oh, I'm working on my iron today. So they'll take a 7-iron and they'll hit 60 balls with a 7-iron, which you can hit them great, but other than maybe building your tempo and your timing for that particular club, that really doesn't translate at all to the golf course and the reality of how you play golf and how it works. The performance training that Eric mentioned, which I love, and execution training, those two to me, I think, just like what you're saying, is if we can do more performance training and execution training as PGA professionals, where we're even involved, like let's say the short game, and I do this with Nikki all the time, but she loves it. Not everybody would like it, but I still think it would be a good way for students to learn, is you play against your student and you come up with a game. You can handicap it. It doesn't matter. You can handicap it and you do putting. You can handicap it and you can do, okay, we're going to pick different spots and you can pitch or chip. And then we have, you get a point if you one putt that ball into the hole. And you play with them, they play, and then now you've got the learn by doing. You're playing a game, which is really just a miniature version of being on the golf course, right? It's really no different. And so if that becomes the lesson, it's transferable. And I wonder if people would if people who are going out doing lessons would actually get a better result, or have a better result, or a better connection from the lesson to the golf course, and actually progress faster and be able to build their skill set faster. Because eventually what will happen, is if you have the people in the beginning, they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I get nervous. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a lesson like that. Well, you're going to have to get through it somehow, unless all you're going to do is hit range balls and that's all you're going to do. I'm assuming you've come here to do a lesson because you want to get on the course and play with friends and family. And guess what? There's going to be other people out there. There are going to be other people out there in groups that are not in your group. They're going to see you make a swing. They're going to see you miss a shot. They're going to see you hit a great shot. It's all part of the game. So it's really fascinating, again, to me, as we do this interview, how a lesson, like when I think of a lesson, like when I was a kid, it was the instructor, it was a basket of balls, and here's one club. And that's what you did. And you talked about your setup, and that was the one thing you would work on quite a bit. But then the swing was always with the same iron. At least the lessons I had. I didn't have very many, but it was always the same iron. It was always like a middle iron. It was always block training. It was always, whatever. And so to tie it all together, it wasn't until recently that when I started playing again, and I started playing in like mini tournaments and match play and things like that, that I'm finally starting to become comfortable in my own skin again, to go out there and play the game and not overthink the game and not worry about the outcome and not worry about, but be more focused on the process. You know, what does it feel like when I step up to the ball? I can tell you when I step up and set up to the ball, I can tell you the shot I'm going to hit because I know what it feels like when it's right, and I know when I'm over the ball and it's wrong. So then the discipline part comes, if you're over the ball and it feels wrong, do you have the discipline to step away from it and reset yourself? And I don't think many people even ever think about that. And I'm not even sure many people could even identify what that feels like, whether it's wrong or right or anything like that, which is kind of what we talked about in the hour before. But I think about back to me hitting balls. Like when I go hit range balls, I hit 10 balls. That's all I do. I'm not saying that I'm not like a stellar player, but that's all I do. I'm not a range guy. I don't sit there and pound balls over and over and over, but I hit 10 balls and I'll hit them when I've got 15 minutes on a break. And my goal is to hit them solid. It's not far. It's not about far. It's not about hard. It's not about any of that. So that I can come back, just like what Eric said in the beginning, like I have self-awareness. I have self-discovery. I'm self-coaching. So that even on those 10 balls, if I hit 5 of them poorly, those poor shots actually meant something. And I was able to gain something from those poor shots and make adjustments within those 10 balls. And that to me, that's no different than what golf is. You get up on the tee, you snap hook a drive, you get lucky, it stays in, go to the next shot. How are you going to adjust? Not overthink it, but how are you going to adjust? Are you going to take less club and just hit a solid shot back into the fairway? That's adjusting. Or are you going to take the 3-wood and try to make up the distance you lost off the tee and try to get it to the green? You know, to me, those are things that I think people need to be exposed to, if that's the right term, and learn that they're in control of that more than they think. But I love what you just said too about the last ball, because it's so funny. I didn't really think about it until you said it. When I finish a round, I could have a great round and be hitting the ball great. And if I hit that last ball or even that last hole, I don't score a par or better, I'm severely disappointed. I never even really thought about how much that. I know the range because I get it on the range. I've done that on the range where the last ball's bad. And I'm like, I don't grab a bucket. I'll grab like 3 more. And if I hit 2 in a row good, I'm like, I'm good. But on the golf course, it's like I could go to the parking lot after bogeying the last hole because I 3-putted or because my approach shot was not great, and my whole mood will go down.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
It's challenging.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we should. Why don't we do that? We'll come back.
And then we can tie it to the travel.
Yeah, because I want to tie it
exactly what we need to do.
Yeah, I want to tie up to that travel thing that you were talking about. So, Golf Talk Radio brought to you by TaylorMade Golf. Check out the latest sim drivers, fairwoods, irons, and hybrids from TaylorMadeGolf.com today. Also, McPhee's Grill of Templeton. McPhee'sGrill.com, 805-434-3204. Hometown cooking through and through. Check out Ian's Famous Barbecue Sauce. Check out their menu. Make reservations online at McPhee'sGrill.com today, 805-434-3204. We'll be right back with more Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Stay with us.
Essential.